What's up, guys? It's your boy Jamaica here, coming at you with another tournament recap for Season 7, Week 5. The Sunday tournament was won by Ribbons playing his Esper Blink build. This is Ribbons third win of the season, joining Briar Moss and Yell and Blake as the only three-time winners this season, and all with different decks. And if I know anything about Ribbons and reviewing all his decks, is that this is a man that loves value. And this deck is just chock full of value. It's an Esper deck with a lot of creatures that have entered battlefield effects and kind of a couple ways to abuse some of them. So let's just like get right into it. We're gonna look at it all together. So it's more of like a blue-black deck splash white. So the mana base is kind of like geared towards that. Islands, swamps, a single plains, a tranquil clove, a couple of vivid marshes on the bottom, along with evolving wilds. Momentarily one of the few like pure white cards in this deck. It's pretty reasonable here, you know, just kind of blinking something. Everything has value, so it has this incredible value in the late game. Only one of, like I said, because white seems to be the splash here. Animate Dead's a really cheap way to give out your creatures after they die. And everything has an effect, so you're getting so much value out of this one card. Single Mistmetal Witch here, like I said, white is on the splash, so you can't really use too many of these because the effect is so good, you don't have a lot of white mana in this deck, so you can't really abuse this card as much. But the white comes mostly from the signets here. Orzhov Signet 4 of, Dimir Signet 2 of. There's a lot of like late game stuff in this deck, so you want to get that ramp early. Korthasar is kind of like an Anticipate on a stick. Pretty like reasonable mid-game solution here. Also, you need the white, although I tend to sack it. So, okay. Mana War, just kind of like a good tempo play. Just, hey, bounce that guy back, whatever. Oath of Jace, I think it's like a remnant of kind of the old, like, Feldar Guardian style Blink decks. But there's not, like, an effect that does this with anything else. So, and then they all have, like, a lot of ways to, like, Blink this. Although, you have, like, things like Nevermaker to bring it back. But I think it's just sort of like a mainstay from the last time we played. We saw this kind of deck with, like, Feldar Guardian, where you could, like, flicker this a lot. Single Soul Manipulation, more of, like, it's a remove soul and a raise dead all at once, which is pretty interesting. You have a lot of creatures you want to get back most of the time. Most of your time, your creatures just trade in combat, so just having a card like this is pretty interesting. It's never really dead. It's never really a dead card. Nevermaker, super interesting card. I guess there's ways that you can kind of like freeze your opponent's draw step for a couple turns, which is all you need sometimes. Also has Evoke, so you can just kind of like do that anyway if we need to. Careful Consideration, extra card draw here. Flex card draw. Removal package in Skin Render and Ridder's Redcap. Redcap's especially awesome with all the Blink stuff. Because if you have to kill it once and it has a counter, then it comes back and it refreshes itself, and all of a sudden you're just dealing more damage here. Riftling Cloud's like pretty awesome early play, and when it comes back, you can bounce anything. You can bounce your own stuff if you want to for even more value. Six of Lost Truce, pretty sweet here. Just draw 3. We don't kick it, even discard 3, but I mean, in the late game, it's just draw 3 cards, so 3/5, it's not too bad. Or Cloud Blazer, which I'm always a fan of here. Draw 2, gain 2 on the 2/2 flyer. That's the essence of value right here. I love me a Mole Drifter. I love me a Mole Drifter. And a single Lavinia in the 10th kind of just like makes it's kind of a way for like it's like a mini overrun on a creature. And you kind of just use this as a way to. Your guys can't block. Your opponent's creature can't block. And then, woo, swing in. You're dead. Or Magister of Worth. Pretty awesome card that we haven't seen a lot of play yet. But this card has been pretty great in kind of the old sort of like Reanimator, like Recurring Nightmare style decks. But it sees play here. I think it's pretty sweet. Pretty awesome card. You can either reanimate all your stuff, or the most common mode is killing everything else but the Magister. But maybe you click Grace and your opponent magic clicks Grace too, and you get all your stuff back. That'd be kind of hilarious. And then 2 Treasure Cruise. You've got a lot of like things that are dying and coming back. So Treasure Cruise is kind of another way to kind of like bridge the gap and draw extra cards. Sideboard, couple Seal of Cleansings just for random artifacts and enchantments, obviously. Warmth is one of the many sort of red hater spells that you can play, but Warmth is a pretty early one. It's also like Sphere of Law, even like Sanctimony. Things like that, but Warmth is a choice here. Single Light a Day. You also have black creatures, but not too many that would affect you too much. But so you don't want like too many of these. That's for like the zombie decks or like mono black control decks. Even it's actually good against Jund, I felt. Though it doesn't like dodge a Spirit Walker can kind of dodge it, but like the Sprouting Thornaxes, the Putrid Leeches, the Desecration Demons, that kind of stops all that. So that's a pretty decent card in that matchup. Fairies Moat, pretty good against the monocolored decks. You don't really want to be attacked. This is not a deck that, unlike other like kind of like blinky, sort of just value centric decks. This is a deck that doesn't really block particularly well. It's kind of like a sort of has a late game engine here, but you really need to like stay alive. This helps. This card to stay alive a lot. Single Aetherling, when you kind of need like slow games to end quickly, I think it's pretty good against control. You kind of just get him in a spot, and all of a sudden, boom, Aetherling. Deal with it. It's hard. It's really hard to deal with. The ultimate price, best against I think like zombies, things like that. Same with Rags to Riches here. Also, it's a reasonable wrath and has something like that you can do after. It's easy to discard with like Oath of Jace and Strings of Lost Truths. So the Riches part, I've actually never seen Riches cast ever, but I'm excited if someone actually did the Fire Scene first, kind of graveyard hate. You don't want Sentinel Totems because between your Animate Deads and other sort of like flashback spells, I think you want to keep your graveyard kind of clear. Lobotomy, favorite card of mine. It's one of the few Memoir side effects in this format. But it's good if you're in the blue-black. The other one's like Thought Hemorrhage, so that's pretty cool. Then Agony Warp, just kind of an extra like two, quote-unquote 2 for 1. And like fogs a creature while kills another one, so that's pretty neat. This is, like Plagueis said earlier in the beginning, this is the most like Ribbons of Night deck I've ever seen. This is like something that's just like, I feel like only he could play. But I mean, if you want to pick it up, you can download it below in the deck list there. All the deck lists actually for the term will be in the description below. There's a link. Thanks guys for watching. I'll catch you next time.